What was the dumbest rumor spread about you? Story 1. A coworker told several people I was having an affair with our boss. To add to it, she said I was the one who told her about it. I'm a woman. My boss was a gay man. No, we were not having an affair. My last job there was a girl like this. The company kept her for 4 years. No one wanted to be near her because she always spread stuff and lies. I once joked about a rash on my hand, saying I wanted to bite it like a dog because of how much it itched. She reported to the boss and I was brought in and told about it. I made it very clear that I wanted to do nothing with any of them. It was no wonder they had a high turnover rate. Why would that be something worth calling in for? Pengadi chews their hand like a dog. My god, we need to handle this immediately. Tell me about it. I hated working there. They called in for other stuff too. They say we should be thankful to work there. I think they used her as information, since the main boss takes it personal if someone wants to relocate or quit. Because I worked at a plasma donation center, they assumed I was doing it on the floor in front of donors. That and you can't have open wounds on the floor, but I had it bandaged. This same chick said a fellow coworker of mine was having seizures because she's on drugs. Turns out that a coworker had a tumor in her brain. She ended up getting let go of, but their excuse was that they were worried she'd seize up during a procedure. That place was bad. Really bad. I got out of there while I could, and now I'm doing what I like anyways. But that rumor-starting jerk actually tried to friend request me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't deal with that stuff. I just want to work, go home, and play video games and not deal with office drama. Wow, I can imagine that place was pretty lifeless if you couldn't even joke about biting an itchy rash. Weird that a grown adult would just accept the role of the office snitch though, and the audacity of her to friend request you and assume you guys are chillin' buddies. Story 2. I moved from Scotland to England at like 13. I had a thick accent and got a lot of poop for it. So almost subconsciously, I slowly started to fake an English accent. It was really stupid, as I'd flip back to Scottish as soon as I got home. After I left school, I dropped the accent. But by that time, the majority of people I knew in the small town I was in had met me as an English spliff wizard. So when I'd see people, they'd be like, WTF happened to you? Why are you suddenly Scottish? I used to just make stuff up like, I had a voice transplant and this is all they had. But eventually it stopped. Roll on a few years and I'm back in town having a drink with some mates. I get talking to 2 guys and when I mention my name, one is like, oh my god, you're that guy who pretends to be Scottish. And so now apparently there's a fable around the town of some English kid who one day was just like, frick this, I'm Scottish now. And the kid is me. I had a voice transplant, this is all they had. I'm scrolling through this while in a conference call. Proper laughed out loud and then panicked that I hadn't muted my mic. Luckily I had, or that could have been very awkward. You faked it so well that people were more ready to believe that lie than the truth. Must have been some good English accent. That must have been so infuriating though. Everybody take this story right here as a reason not to lie and try to change who you are. Story 3. Gonna get buried in slightly off prompt, but in middle school I ended up hanging around these 2 boys for a few months. I always had a way of finding myself in the group with the weird kids. Like and like-minded I suppose. But anyway, one of the boys actually would talk about how he'd been in prison. Changed to juvie when I asked questions. I mentioned it probably offhanded to a few acquaintances. The way you do as a kid with information and no processing skills. Then one day after some school event, I'm with my mom and little sister. When we are approached aggressively by this random woman dragging my weird friend with her. She asked me to stop spreading rumors that her son had been to juvie. My mom looked very confused and unsure of where to direct her anger that was developing. I said something along the lines of, okay, but he told me he had been, as if he made me spread the rumor. I think that wasn't what she expected, because she quickly assured, my son has never been in trouble with the law, and ran off dragging my embarrassed friend away. Mom didn't want me hanging around him anymore. I then started hanging out with a girl who swore she was dating an older guy who sometimes was a werewolf. I sure know how to pick them. Wow, sounds to me like you need someone else to pick them for you. That's 2 for 2 now. Story 4. When I was pregnant with my youngest, I was looking for baby stuff straight away. I was looking to buy a baby-wearing sling and I spoke to this local woman who was much older than me. I was 23, and she befriended me and added me to a baby-wearing group as I was wanting to buy baby wear. Everything was fine until I told her how far along I was. Like 6 weeks. And then she deleted me and I was removed from the group. I was very confused. Turns out she thought I was faking my pregnancy because apparently if I was only 6 weeks along, I wouldn't be buying baby stuff. She told the admin of the group to delete me. She told some people in town I was faking and somebody told me. I was quite upset, but everyone knew it was garbage when they saw my belly, and then saw my baby after I had her. After I had her, I sold my baby wearing sling and the woman who bought it was in the original group. I told her my story and she was horrified and talked to the admin who apologized to me and invited me back to the group. I accepted her apology but declined the offer of being in the group. I still see the woman who started the rumor every so often with my clearly not fake child with me. Why on earth would someone think you'd fake a pregnancy? Like if you did, why would you waste a bunch of money buying baby stuff? That just makes 0 sense to me and I have no idea how she thought that. And convinced the admin of it too. Story 5. When I was 21 and in college, I worked with a boy who was a senior in high school. His girlfriend broke up with him about 2 weeks before prom for another guy. I offered to go with him. The girl was dumped by her new boyfriend a few days before prom. I wanted my coworker to take her to prom, but he said no, as he was going with an older woman. I was quite the topic of conversation. The girl had come by our store when I was working, and she and her friend told everyone I was an itch who had multiple children with multiple baby daddies. I don't even go here. Anyway, prom was nice, dinner before was great, and after the dance I went home, alone, and had many legal drinks in my child-free house. What year was this? I just asked because when I was in high school, 13 years ago, we weren't allowed to bring anyone who was 21 or older to school dances. I'm guessing because of the possibility of alcohol. 1999. Jeez, that number looks weird. And now I realize that was pretty much half my life ago. I'm feeling old. I'm feeling old just reading that. Thanks. Story 6. This was spread by an adult in a volunteer organization I was part of. Me, happily married, running for a leadership position. Her many years to someone running for one of the other positions. Apparently she didn't want me on their leadership team because she told people I had the hots for her husband, who was, bless his heart, a nice guy, but homely. I respected what he'd done to achieve leadership in the organization, but could not have been more uninterested in that aspect of him if he had been a cow patty. I didn't know anything about this until after I lost the election. She also started a rumor about 2 other adults who were friendly, but not doing anything untoward. Unfortunately, the wife of the man believed that rumor, and it totally ruined a number of relationships and events, because she wouldn't permit them to attend the same meeting or event. I never understood what motivated that person to spread those types of rumors. For power. The night before Election Day, someone spread hundreds of flyers in our small town that the opposing candidate was a child toucher on the FBI watch list. Not a word of it was true, but he lost the election anyway. They do it just to be annoying. I don't see how you could get entertainment out of that, but some people do. Story 7. That I assaulted a girl at school. At the time, there was drama going around that someone in my group of friends had assaulted this girl, who was a friend of mine. Later, we found out the guy our entire group hated, we'll call him Jake, actually did it and was suspended and arrested. Before that, the school was trying to figure out what had happened, and Jake told the admins that I did it, and they questioned me but couldn't pin me to it. I was the mediator of the group, so if there was an argument, I would usually take the middle ground, so basically everyone in the group knew it wasn't me, which kinda saved my butt. But because of that, our name dropped Jake to the admins and they ended up pinning it to him, because the girl eventually gave a description of the guy who did it, and it was Jake. LOL, imagine assaulting a girl and blaming it on someone, and not expect being caught. Yeah, some guy did that, and the dude he blamed it on got picked out of a lineup by the girl. He went to prison for more than a decade before DNA evidence proved him innocent, and the man who lied was found guilty. Screw Jake, what a total tool. I hope his butt is rotting in prison right now. Story 8. That I was gay. I like girls, but you never see me with one because girls don't like me. Honestly, you don't see me with guys either. I love how if you don't get laid by 12, you're gay. Way back then, the target age was 16. I remember being smeared with that one too. At the time, early 90s, I remember feeling like it was a horrible slander and questioning my very manhood. Of course I was a stupid high school kid then and didn't know any better. I actually had crushes on a few girls by that time, but was completely socially awkward and hadn't dated anyone at all. Back then, hasn't dated anyone was used as ammo for must be gay. A lot of the time it seems like the ones making those kinds of accusations are just projecting their own insecurities on others because they don't know what else to do. Don't let people like that get to you. Trust me, it isn't worth it. Story 9. The person would pull this in a boy's locker room before or after gym. His locker was near mine and he'd wait for me to start changing before making homosexual remarks towards me. Again, stupid high school thing that he was insinuating that gay equals bad, and I just accepted that. This person was also part of a group that used to follow me from class to class, harassing me multiple times a day. I hated high school and was so happy when I went to college. Story 10. The funniest was in high school. My classmates thought I could blow things up with my brain. To this day, I wish that were true. The worst was also in high school. I had a teacher, one I liked and trusted, stage an intervention because the rumor was that I was a lesbian. A rumor since junior high and something I never confirmed or denied, and that I was abusing my girlfriend, a friend and nothing more. To this day, the idea that this teacher I liked and respected could believe such a thing still bothers me. Her delivery was very much, you need to stop this, as opposed to, let's talk. It sounds like a budget version of I am not okay with this. TV series made by Netflix. Story 11. In middle school, someone started a rumor that I was a voodoo priestess. Stereotypical Hollywood voodoo, nothing like the real thing. I'm white and live in Canada. People believed it. They'd shriek and run when they saw me. At the end of one year, a girl who had been nothing but awful to me asked if she could sign my yearbook, and her signature was basically her pleading with me not to curse her. Even in my first year of high school, I had a few people who didn't go to my middle school walk up and ask me if it was true that I did voodoo. Thankfully, it died down after that. Dang, you should just owned it and got stuff out of it. I'm sure people would have stopped being awful towards you or given you stuff if they really believed it. Story 12. That I was a lesbian. Growing up, a guy was convinced I was a lesbian. I just didn't fancy him. I didn't bother correcting him either. He told everyone I was, but you know what? Who cares? It didn't bother me and definitely didn't affect my love life. Got hit on by a few women, but I was flattered. My friend and a guy started a similar rumor when she turned him down after he tried to get handsy with her at a party. So he decided to go all around afterward telling people she turned him down because she was lesbians with me. Honestly, it was pretty funny at the time, because I had a steady boyfriend. So when people would hear about it, they come up to me and be like, "You're dating a guy, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And they go, "I told him you weren't a lesbian." Imagine your ego being so darn fragile that you have to start rumors like that about someone just because you can't handle rejection. That's just sad. Story 13. That I told my entire preschool class that Santa wasn't real. It was actually a different kid with the same first name as me, and I hadn't even been there when it happened. So I learned the truth about Claus from my enraged and screaming mother calling me a liar. I'm now 32 and I still hate Christmas. This reminds me of when I took my sister to Build-A-Bear, and the shop assistant mentioned something about Santa's gift coming early this year, and my sister blurted out, "But Santa isn't real," with a stone cold serious face. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin appeared asking for a heck yeah. Wait, what? Your mother called you a liar? Did she not know Santa wasn't real? I'm confused. Story 14. That I'm dead. I'm not dead. Not me, but my ex. Hairstylist I hadn't been to before. Small talk. Find out she went to the same large high school as my fiance and graduated the same year. Did you know narcissistic butthole? Oh my god, yes. Isn't it sad how he died? Before I could get a word in, she goes into the story about how he moved to Las Vegas after high school, got heavy into drugs and unalived himself. Well, I don't know where you heard that, but he's my fiance and he's very much alive. Unless... Dun dun dun. Story 15. That my parents were drug dealers, and they involved me in selling drugs at my elementary school. What actually happened was that I gave my friends $1 each for my lunch money, so we could all buy cookies. Somehow the rumor spread all the way to the principal, so he dragged me to his office and lectured me about giving my money away in front of other people. Yeah, teach kids not to be kind to friends. Setting really great examples. It's a sad reality that a kind gesture can be twisted in such a way. Could have been worse. The principal could have dragged you into his office to hook a brother up. Story 16. That I was dead. Was late getting back to uni, so my buddies decided to be funny to tell people I'd been killed in Europe. The story started with killed in an accident and blossomed to got a girl pregnant, wouldn't marry her, decided to marry her, killed in an accident. One girl I knew actually believed it and cried when we bumped into each other. Had no idea she cared. Well, that ending proves that sometimes we take people for granted. Yeah, now I miss my friends. You've got friends? Jealous. Story 17. One was that I laid eggs. Another was that I had 14 abortions in 6 months. Unfortunately, both around the same time period. Yikes. So were those abortions sunny side up or scrambled? I really like that idea that one could get pregnant 14 times in 6 months. Isn't something that most of your classmates found ridiculous? I'm gonna make 2 guesses. 1, this was somewhere in America, Midwest or South, based on the distinct lack of spicy ed there. Or 2, you were in fact too young to get pregnant and for some reason, elementary kids had heard the term abortion while you were out, so you became the butt of a rumor. Story 18. Did I give my boyfriend a handy on the bus? I very much did not. I hadn't even seen a wiener at that point in my life. It was so outrageous that the people who tried to spread it became the butt of a joke for spreading something that literally no one would believe. And this happened in college. This happened to me, except I'm the guy. First girlfriend slash childhood best friend was sleeping with her head resting against my shoulder. The substitute bus driver thought she was doing some spicy act, stopped the bus, called her to the front. That was the last time I ever saw her. Her parents pulled her out of school and sent her to live with her grandparents across the country immediately. I got suspended. I heard her parents wanted to press charges, but nothing ever came of that. And her friends hated my guts afterwards for thinking I pressured her into it, even though we didn't do anything. Jesus, talk about overreacting. I'm sorry that happened, man. I can't even imagine how she felt. Literally everybody in that story is a complete freaking moron. Except you and the poor girl. Story 19. That my boyfriend assaulted me or pressured me. We haven't even had spicy time yet. We were both virgins and wanted to wait. We lived in a small town of 800, so word spread fast. And a woman wanted me to press charges against him because she thought he was older than me. I was actually older than him. It was stupid, but thankfully it stopped after a month. Imagine you're the guy in that situation, and the person spreading the rumors is your week-old ex. Edit, an ex who has been my ex for a week, not an ex who was a week old. I don't think anyone was confused on that one, thinking you meant an ex was a week old. But this is the internet, so who knows. Story 20. That was kind of a twofer. My ex was spreading rumors that my new girlfriend was pregnant by someone else, while my girlfriend, now wife, was dating a girl. Then the rumors grew to me only dating her so the kid would have a dad. Then once we got engaged, it spread to us that we were only getting married to save her the disgrace of having a baby out of wedlock. Here's my favorite part, the timeline. We dated for 11 months until we got engaged. We were engaged for like 14 months. We had our first kid at almost 3 years of marriage, so that's quite the gestational period she had. And the kid looks a lot like me, so it's suspicious for him to be someone else's. Nah, you two were just masters of the long con. Story 21. Back when Five Nights at Freddy's was popular, I was in middle school working on a computer. I wanted a cool desktop background of one of the characters, so I searched it up on Bing Images, which was the default search engine on our school network. Bing has a tab between the search bar and the images where it says other people search for, and lists a bunch of other popular items. Well, it just so happened that a lot of people were searching up FNAF corn on Bing. A classmate saw the search term, and I became the kid who searched up FNAF Rule 34 on the school computers. Frick you, Bing. Bing stays out here ruining lives to this day. Story 22. That I had mad computer skills because I was browsing Reddit at work. None of my coworkers had ever seen a website that was just text with some thumbnails, instead of blinking ads covering 80% of the page. This is exactly why I love this website. Story 23. As a child, many kids thought I was gay because I had long hair. I had hair down to my elbows. I'm a guy. People thought I was a girl when I first went to elementary school in 5th grade. I had been homeschooled before that, so no one knew me, lol. I cut it all off and got a normal kind of fade haircut. And everybody thought a new kid no one knew about had come to school. Didn't have many friends before that. It was weird because I made a lot after I cut my hair. Wacky world out there. Also, some kids were convinced I was gay while I had a girlfriend. Story 24. It wasn't mine, but my friend is allergic to peanuts, and someone started a rumor that he was lying. So someone waved a peanut butter sandwich in front of him. That started an allergic reaction. We were in 5th grade. How did the idiot who tried to prove your friend a liar react? He was shocked. He dropped the piece of bread instantly and apologized to my friend afterwards when he came back to school. That's such a nice 5th grader. Not even many adults I know would admit to their mistakes like that. Story 25. In middle school, some sub that no one knew, that looked like a narc, pulled me from class because of a family issue, and walked me out of school to my mom. Somehow this turned into the sub being a cop, and it being a cop car, and I was in trouble for something. One rumor a few weeks later was that I had gotten in trouble for bringing tons of huge guns to school or something. I was like, guys, I'm still at school. I told you what happened. Kids are ruthless in middle school. I only escaped that by having no friends. Story 26. I made fun of Baptists at my friend's house, and his mom told the other moms that I worship the devil. This was in 10th grade or so. Should just pretend to be possessed next time you see their mom. That childhood friend got out of prison recently. He'd been locked away for many years for maiming a law enforcement agent. I don't plan on seeing any of them again in this life. Whoa, I didn't expect that. Good choice to stay away. Story 27. I was once sick for an entire week of 9th grade. Somehow it spread that I went to Hawaii. Even a teacher made a comment. I have no idea how the frick that started, and nobody would tell me why they thought it. Because they thought I was just being cheeky by denying it. When their right mind would deny going to Hawaii. That doesn't make much sense. Someone in an affair with a Hawaiian, that's who. Story 28. When I was 13, there was a rumor spreading around that I was born in Iraq, used to live in Moscow, and was a diehard gay communist that wanted to run for president and pass a law that everyone was required to have gay spicy time with me. Dang, your 8th grade class was well versed in controversial geopolitics. I was called a communist in schools because I was in a shelter. No, our shelter. Story 29. When I was in grade 1, some girls thought it would be funny to tell everyone I had boy private parts, which upset me greatly. I don't remember this, but my mother has told me that during an assembly I was talking with people around me, and it was brought up and I felt the need to stand up and pull my pants down and undies in front of everyone. I cringe every time I think about it. This anecdote needs its own subreddit. Story 30. That I licked the top of a pizza box when someone threw it in the garbage. Some people are freaking stupid. Obviously it would have been inside of the box. I once actually ate popcorn out of the trash and no one cared. It was an open bag and there wasn't much else that looked disgusting in there, and I was hungry. Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Story 31. There was a widely held belief among the underclassmen in my fraternity that sometime in the murky past, I had thrown a chair in anger during the course of one of our meetings. I had never thrown a chair and haven't to this day. I threw a beefy 5-layer once. Now that's a story I want to hear. Story 32. My husband had the flu in February. Rumor around his work was that he had coronavirus, and I gave it to him because I worked with the first infected patient in my county. I was never sick. I don't work in the same city as the first infected, and I have no idea who she is. The rumor kept getting more and more crazy every day. Story 33. That I fancied this guy. I genuinely didn't. I was just being polite to him because he was a nice guy. The guy I actually liked, I fought with all the time and pretended I hated. Isn't there an anime term for that? Like Tsunder or something? For the second sentence. Jesus frick, I hate this trope so much. The anime wife who acts thirsty as frick until the man shows a slight interest in her, and then she gets beet red and dramatically shy. God, I love Tsunders. Story 34. In 5th grade, these two girls that hate me once told the class that I cheat on tests by looking at other people's answers. My classmates avoided me for months because of that. In India, we cheat and brag about it. India sounds based. Story 35. That I sold sandwiches in school. How do you even start a rumor like that? Let us pray that some people from my school see this. Oh man, you made it up for that and I'm not even mad. Story 36. That I have 3 testicles. Do you? Come on guys, he obviously has 4. I sold this pair from a Japanese guy in an earthquake. Story 37. That I'm a poor replica of a human, designed to test awkward social interactions. Frick off, I'm a quality replica. Story 38. Someone started a rumor that there was another person inside of me working me with controls. Okay, but notice how he didn't deny this? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos to come, or else this spider will be in your bed tonight.